what is the surprise to you now that you're out as to how you're perceived and how you maybe thought you were coming across?
To be honest, I think when I first went in there, I was doing fine, and it kind of, the bear thing kind of changed how I came across, I think. But I mean, I knew how it was being at the time, and I had to just make a decision between being happy in there or being miserable. And
but you had said, we've seen you said, I think in your interview before you went in, I'm not going to have a relationship with anybody. I don't want any romance. I'm not going to kiss anybody.
Yeah.
Well, we saw you doing a lot more than just kissing. So what was it about Bear? Because you also said he's not really my type originally, didn't you? To one of the girls, you went, no, he's not really my type.
I'll tell you what it is.
You tell me.
He's a controller, and you fell for it. He controls everybody. He has to control the agenda of the day. He controlled you, and that suited his agenda. Are you telling us, interestingly, will this relationship continue outside the house?
Well, we have got plans. He did ask me to wait for him, and
work for him.
Wait for him.
Oh, wait for him. I'm sorry.
He did ask me to wait for him, and he said if he went, he was going to wait for me that night. And he said, you know, he'll go away for a few days when he gets out and just, you know, talk.
I have to say, he seems very down. I don't know if you've seen any of it since you've been out, but you did seem quite upset that you'd gone. I'm never sure with Bear if what we're hearing is really Bear and the truth.
Right.
He had a girlfriend before he went in.
He did.
So you knew that. Did he talk about that or say, look, I've finished with her and I want to be with you? Originally,
because I didn't even know Bear was when he went in there, so I didn't know like the background and stuff. And when the first kiss was a game of dares, and I didn't know about the girlfriend really before that. And then he kind of said it after at the dinner table around other people. So I was just like, wow, I didn't actually know this. But he did.
Did that put you up? See, that would make me go, well, he's timing somebody. Why would I want to be with a two-timer?
But he basically said he'd made a decision that he didn't want to be with her anymore, and he obviously couldn't get out to tell her, but he wanted it to be known, and that he would just move on. He didn't want to be with her.
Listen, let's talk about the antics. That's the romance. You say, you know, you just really liked him, and you're hoping that will continue out of the house. There seemed to be these two gangs, didn't there? The kind of divide against the younger ones and the slightly older ones.
Or the feral four, as I call you.
Oh, really?
Feral four. Barney and Lewis and you and Bear. And there were a lot of evenings where we saw you getting up to all sorts of things. We saw you pole dancing, we saw you in the shower. It appeared to be that you were doing more than just kissing. What's the truth of that?
You were in that toilet and you weren't having a wee.
You know what? When I first came out, I didn't know about all these headlines and stuff, so I didn't know this had been said. I've just spent a couple of days Googling and going over everything, and I was like, wow.
But there's things we were hearing. We were hearing lots of noises and all sorts of things.
I'm going to have to say this. I think Big Brother have turned the microphone right up on there because I don't.
Well, all I can say, you must have had terrible constipation in that toilet.
No, absolutely not.
It was so painful with groans.
But I mean, we honestly didn't do as much as what people think. In fact, a lot less. And I think it's a shame that it was behind a closed door then because they couldn't see. Because I mean, if
they'll do that next year.
People watching, I think, you know, especially me. I'm a mother, and when you would pole dancing around the pole, and you'd all had a bit to drink, you know, and you're all young and having fun, but that, for a lot of people, was a step too far. Into, you know, so a lot of people were saying, oh my goodness, what about her family watching that? You've got a young daughter. I mean, I know she's too young to watch the show now, but one day, you know, that will be there, won't it? If she sees that. Did any of that cross your mind when you were in there? Did you think about your family, friends, what they would be thinking, seeing you behave?
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely do think that, but then when you're in there for a while, you kind of forget cameras are there. And
do you? Because people say that.
Yeah, you actually do. And I mean, it's not like living in a home with your family and people that are close to you. It's like being in a big party with a bunch of friends. It's not like a homely environment. I mean, because I've done Playboy and I've done Glamour, I am very good at keeping my home life and my work life very separate. And I think I saw Big Brother more of a job and more of a that kind of vibe than the family life. So because I keep it so separate.
But you know they're going to see it.
I mean, my family will see it, but I mean, my little girl, she's young. There's programmes for grown-ups anyway. If she wants to watch it when she's 18, that's her choice.
You thought that was a bit more like work. You did what you had to do.
I mean, it's not. We actually all did a pole dance that night, the four of us, and only mine got shown. And
yes, but you the only one took your clothes off on that.
Well, yeah, somewhat. But well, actually, to be fair though, to be fair to myself, I think people have been a lot more fully nude in the house, actually, and they've not really took the flak for it. I've kind of got all the flak.
I think what it is, Chloe, and you're a very nice person and whatever, but I think what Ruth's saying is when you watch that, you feel a bit for you, you think, did you really have to do some of the things that you did? And also, he's pushing your buttons. As a matter of fact, he probably pushed more than your buttons, but he was... It's just that if I was in that house, I would either be Bear's mate, in that I'd be saying, catch yourself on, he needs somebody to control him, or I would be his worst enemy. But he's like a villain from a Batman movie or something.
Exactly that.
He's like the Riddler, the Joker or something.
Did you ever feel he was leading you to do things?
Absolutely not, because, you know, they see, like, a really small section of what's actually happening. It's such a minimal time you see him for the full 24 hours. I mean, he had cooked all my dinners for me, he fed me like a baby, he was actually sweet as well as devilish.
Do you love him?
I love him as a person.
She loves him as a person. Right. OK, thank you, Chloe. For more of the same, just click here. And don't forget, you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
These four are so undignified. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
But also, do you know what they were doing in the garden and to each other in the showers, I can go, oh, you know, well, that's fine. But throwing cake around in the bedroom, I would have been more annoyed about that, wouldn't you?
Well, they were.
Sleeping, like, I'm trying to sleep and you're wasting my food and you're throwing it on the carpet and not clearing it up.
And that's what's happened, actually.